coming up.
Usually you can't do it, but because it's you, we have a chance, that kind of thing, right? That just speaks so much for the man, and the fact it's Liverpool and it's Anfield, and the fact we're missing Firmino, we're missing Salah. Salah had to never give up.
Never give up. Like, that's iconic even now, because it's just, I don't know how many times I've said out loud, like, this team, that's sort of where you just, how have we done it again?
And then you see like moments in pre-season when Mamadou Sakho was filming during that kind of pre-season tour and got kicked off, right? Klopp takes no shiz from no one. You follow him to the highest of heights, or if you don't fall in line, you're out, right? I love the fact, he's got that aura. Istanbul final, 3-0 down, right? And I heard the Liverpool fans in an away Ataturk Stadium out singing opposition, singing like a hymn throughout, right? And we came back against one of the best Milan teams of all time. That was the moment that clicked. I was like, if that can happen, and that's Liverpool can do it at any given time. Life is long.
For some reason, I just keep listening to it and watching it again. Like, I'm like, why am I torturing myself like this?
Liverpool Fan in Japan podcast, episode 1. Here we go. Hello YouTube, Liverpool Fan in Japan here, the Miyazaki man's side. Now that the studio is up and running, not fully done yet, but we're getting there. Next week, a key piece arrives. Collaboration season is now open, and I'm joined today by my main man, Andy Cantwell, huge Liverpool fan with his own YouTube channel as well. He is brilliant. I love his content as well. He's well spoken, passionate from the heart. My kind of man. We get up to all kind of shenanigans in this talk. One of the topics is how Darwin Nunez can rediscover his form under Arne Slot, what type of striker he is. Now, if you're keen on understanding different striker attributes, then you need to watch this anime, Blue Lock. Blue Lock is around Japan's search for that golden wonder kid striker, the one that will lead you to glory, because strikers are built differently. They have to have the ego, the intrinsic belief within themselves to hit that key shot, to score the goal. You can't pass the opportunity. You can't pass it to a teammate. It's all on you, all or nothing. Japan's destiny to win the World Cup one day. Samurai Blue in a cage. Japan's search to find a striker with the right attributes. Is it heading? Is it shooting? Is it tactical awareness? Is it visibility? Blue Lock explores all of these concepts. All of the different players have different characteristics, and if you want to watch Blue Lock on Netflix is one of the most rewarding experiences, because then you can understand what it takes to be that key striker. It really teaches you about football philosophy and football concepts as well. Highly recommend it. Hello YouTube, Liverpool Fan in Japan here, the Miyazaki man sign. I've got a very special guest today. Andy, how are you doing, my man?
I am very well, Si. How are you?
Very, very good. The sun is shining, can't complain. Bright daylight as well. So, looking forward to getting this collab underway. You excited?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I mean, the sun's not quite up here yet, but this is my little sort of studio nook area, my happy place. So it's good to be here talking to you.
I like it. Very contemporary, very clean. I still got some work to do, but it's getting there, step by step.
It looks so good. I am so I would love to just walk around and look at everything you've got going on in the background there. But
one day,
another
time.
Another time.
Family long stay in a guest room.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, it's actually, I mean, like, one of the things that me and my family, like, we're obsessed with going to Japan one day, and that's like the dream. It's like, we will get there one day. Like, my daughter is into, like, she's into little bits of anime and stuff like that, and she just and like any of those sort of like rainy street walks through Tokyo or something that you see on YouTube, she's obsessed with them. So one day we'll get there.
Absolutely. I think on the bucket list, you're going to hit Tokyo first, the big cities, Akihabara, Mecha City, anime, all the food and goodies. And then when you want a bit of downtime and relaxing, you come down here to Miyazaki and I'll show you good time, the beautiful beaches, shopping. It's how life was to me, man.
and just check out that cool studio behind you. I'll just tell them, look, I have a friend. I'm going to see his setup.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, looking forward to. So yeah, for people who don't know, Andy Cantwell, beautiful YouTube channel, big Liverpool fan. I love his stuff, pure emotion, right from the heart. None of his clickbait malarkey. And you've got over 10k subscribers, like 11k now, haven't you?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's great. Like, it's my favorite thing that I do, I have to say, and it's just, I had real imposter syndrome when I first started it, because, like, I don't really get down to tactics or anything like that in the show, just because I'm not that, like, I just don't get it. Like, that's why I like your channel, so I can actually get my info that way. But yeah, it's just, and then as time went on, then it was just, people seemed quite supportive and they just liked the emotion of it rather than the lack of tactics. So it's been great. I have to say, everyone's been real supportive, and it's been just, I just love doing it. So yeah, I'm very happy with it so far.
it comes across as well. You can see your kind of authentic kind of nature and the opinions behind it as well. And I really think that people connect to, that kind of authentic a kind of vibe you got there, and you get the interaction.
Well, that's it. Like, and yeah, and like that's the thing. Like, I think like no one in my house is interested in Liverpool at all. In fact, my daughter wants Liverpool to lose simply because I'm a Liverpool fan.
Oh no!
So it's one of those, like, we have that sort of messy, antagonizing sort of relationship. And then my future wife, or she'll be kind of, she will allow me to talk at her for maybe 20 seconds at a time about Liverpool before she's like, okay. So this is good for me too, because now I can talk to people and they actually want to hear about it. So yeah, it's very nice, very nice.
Absolutely. Isn't interaction with the fan base really good as well? Like the kind of comments you get, it kind of makes your day, right? When you hear how passionate they are, how they support your views, how they support your channels, that really gives you good feels for the day, isn't it?
And I like the fact that a lot of people. Or there's a lot of comments that kind of say like, oh, it's like watching the show is like watching like a friend or watching a mate just talk about football and stuff like that. And then I'd occasionally get messages from people who, completely on the other side of the world, who would just be like, I don't have many people around me who watch football. So this is, like, I love those little messages like that, where it's kind of like, oh, like I wouldn't even have thought of like someone in Kenya would be like so passionate about the channel, but like it's great. I'm so surprised, but it's brilliant.
Absolutely, the joy of Liverpool, the kind of passion of supporting Liverpool connects the fans worldwide. I mean, obviously Japan, and the UK, and Ireland, no matter where everyone is, it's all banged together. We're just we're here to share those memories, those moments. And speaking of moments, kind of Jurgen Klopp's tenure final day. I watched your video, absolutely heartfelt, man. This is what we're here about, right? We're gonna share those moments.
Well, that's it. Like it's kind of. And like with the Klopp stuff at the end, I was just like I was saying in the video, like I was really holding out for months. I thought like, that's very sad, but like I don't think I'll actually cry about it. And then literally the day before the match, the floodgates open, and it's just like I'm still, even now, I'll like, and I don't know why I would do it to myself, but I'll listen to it in the car. You to Me Are Everything, because that montage that Liverpool put together, this real joyous, uplifting, like that was what got me. For some reason I just keep listening to it and watching it again, like I'm like, why am I torturing myself like this? But so the floodgates have well and truly opened now.
It's the inner masochist in it. You can't help it. It's going to drive you on. It's it's going to spur those kind of heartstrings. And speaking of kind of heartstrings, three key moments in the Jurgen Klopp tenure. It's been a long, almost a decade, right? What for you are the three key moments? Let's talk about number one. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you talk about Klopp's Liverpool?
You know what? The first thing, and it's I hate for it to sound like cliche, but just that the Barcelona comeback for me is just like, where do you like? It just shouldn't have happened. You know what I mean? It felt. I think one of the things about it was like, at the time, I think Vincent Kompany had just scored that goal for City in the league against Leicester, and it was like, I can't believe that whatever it was, 98 points or something. It was like, I can't believe it's not enough. And then we go 3-0 down to Barca, and it was just like, I can't believe. Like I was so down. And then I thought, well, you never know. It's at Anfield, get an early goal, and we'll see. But just the way it happened, it was just, I mean, it just doesn't, like, these results just don't happen. You know what I mean? And like it was one of those where, like, most matches, I'm kind of like, yes, or like really going crazy, which I was for the goals. But by the time it was full time, I just kind of slumped out of my chair. Like I had given, like, all of my emotion was out, and it was just,
soul was there,
and I just slumped, and my girlfriend was beside me, and like, she's reading something. She's like, she doesn't know the battle I'm going to hear, and I was just like, I can't believe it. I couldn't believe that we had done it, and it just sums Klopp up though, doesn't it? Like, it's just that sort of.
The comeback, the passion, and those phrases, usually you can't do it, but because it's you, we have a chance, that kind of thing, right? That just speaks so much for the man, and the fact it's Liverpool and it's Anfield, and the fact we're missing Firmino, we're missing Salah. Salah had to never give up.
Never give up. Like, that's iconic even now, because it's just, and it's true. It is. It's. I mean, how many times have you done it with this team where it's like how, like, I don't know how many times I've said out loud, like, this team, that's sort of where you just, how have we done it again? And there's about probably 20 that you could pick, but the Barca one really stands out for me anyway.
It's absolutely amazing, especially because of the players that were involved, right? Wijnaldum, Shaqiri, Henderson, Origi, people on the fringes. But that's something that Klopp has. He brings that camaraderie to the team that no matter what your place in the squad, you can make an
Yeah.
impact. You can change destiny. You can,
Yeah.
really, really help us.
And he has trust in every single player in the squad, like it's not, he doesn't sort of risk people if they're not fully fit, and he's
Yeah.
he has faith in his backup options and stuff like that. And that was just, on paper, like, again, like you said, no Salah, no Firmino, and we have to win by 3 or 4 goals. It's like, there's no, with the best will in the world, I was like, how is this going to happen? But it did. It gives me goosebumps.
Absolutely. Above and beyond logic, I actually had real confidence in that game for 2 reasons. So one of the major influences was when I was young and I watched that Istanbul final 3-0 down, right? And I heard the Liverpool fans in an away Ataturk Stadium out singing opposition, singing like a hymn throughout, right? And we came back against one of the best Milan teams of all time. That was the moment that clicked. I was like, if that can happen, and that's Liverpool can do it at any given time. Life is long, right? So against Barcelona in the first leg, we didn't deserve to lose 3-0. I thought we played really good, right, in the first leg against that particular Barcelona team. And that's why I had the faith, no matter what, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. For minute 1, we're going to do it. When first go in, 2 more. And when it's, when it's 3-3, it's almost written in the stars that you're going to do it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the momentum was well and truly full steam ahead when we got that third. But, like, do you find when you're watching a match, are you generally optimistic, if we need to pull something out of the bag, or, some unlikely result? Like, is your default, like, I think we can do it?
It's a good question. It's a good question. So I always try to put like analysis and logic behind it. So it's to do with our form coming in, the squad that we selected in terms, not just the first 11, right? Because that has a bearing on it, but also from the bench as well. And also as first 10-15 minutes ago, you can kind of get a feel and a vibe of the game. Has Klopp got a handle of that game, of the narrative, or is opposition set up, or particular players causing us issues, and have we got something to resolve that? After then, I can kind of have confidence that within the 90 minutes we might do something here, or actually Klopp is going to struggle. Like against Atalanta, right, against Gasperini, I never felt Klopp had a handle on that particular match. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I felt the same thing, and and then they obviously went on to win it. But yeah, I've never seen a match like, I mean, that was bizarre, because that was kind of, I was like, I'm watching, I'm like, what is happening? Like, it just seemed, and again, you may know better than me, but I was like, stop pass. It's like, I know we're getting slightly sidetracked. I was like, stop passing it at the back. Stop keeping it and passing it back to the goalkeeper, centre back, goalkeeper. I'm like, get it. But like, I'm sure they obviously know much more than I do. There's, they're trying out their
being very modest.
No, honestly, I mean, I don't. I mean, sometimes I'm like that old guy in a pub, but but yeah, but like with things like Barca, it was just get that early goal, or with any of these comebacks, like, just if you just give us a glimpse, like we're not clearly, like, we clearly have a handle, like you said, on the game, then it can happen.
Indeed. And one of the things that really helped us during Klopp's tenure, and one of the lasting impressions, one of the top 3 moments for me, is Klopp's aura. So from the very first interview, when he came in, right, the stature of the man, his kind of demeanor, the way he talks, I'm the normal one. He had the kind of room in fraud, like they're listening to his every word. And then you see like moments in pre-season where Mamadou Sakho was filming during that kind of pre-season tour and got kicked off, right? Klopp takes no shiz from no one. You follow him to the highest of the heights, or if you don't fall in line, you're out, right? I love the fact, he's got that aura. He's a man's man. He'll be your friend, but not your best friend, but you follow him because your fates are intertwined, and if you follow him, good things will happen. That kind of feeling from him.
Well, that's it. Like, and the aura is there. Like, it's like, I was saying it on the show a few weeks ago, but like, I just view him as this kind of like wise old sage, and just anything, his opinion on anything to do with football and life, I'm like taking notes. Like, yes, this is gospel. Like, it just like that. I believe everything he says, and I like, since day one, I'm like, everything this guy has shown me so far is, it just seems right. Everything he says just seems right. Like, even, I mean, I don't even think he prepared that normal one
Just came
quote.
out.
I feel like it was just at the spur of the moment, because that's just kind of how he is. He just has these poetic moments, that just sort of come out of him all the time. But yeah, he definitely has an aura.
It's true. It's true. And I don't know, do you get this kind of feeling as well that when he mentions this means more, and I really thought about this and I was going to make a video on this, even if he won 2 Premier Leagues and 2 Champions Leagues, I don't think he could be held in any higher esteem, especially from the Liverpool fan base, than he already is. He already deserves a statue, he already deserves, anthems and chants, and to go down in history and in legacy. To me, the trophies that he has won everything except, the Europa League. It literally was a hugely successful period. One more Premier League and one more Champions League doesn't change how I would feel about Jurgen Klopp.
No, I mean, when you think about it, I seen a stat there last week, and it said, if the results were different in four games, Liverpool would have 3 Premier League titles and 3 Champions League titles. In just four games, we would have won the quadruple. You know what I mean? Like, these are it's such fine margins. Yeah. But I think the fact that we've banked all those trophies definitely helps give a bit of goodwill, because, like I was saying last week, I think, like, the memories and the emotions of these comebacks and these, how many times during the season have we just gone, I can't believe this team, I can't believe we've done it again, and all this. And Klopp said himself, we may have fallen just short sometimes, but like 364 out of those 365 days were just pure joy. And so it's kind of like, and again, it's kind of like these moments of like Klopp at full time at the Champions League, or just the fist pumps and the hugs and everything. I would go back and watch them more than I would watch like a trophy lift. Like, it's great to have it, and I definitely want it, but in terms of like hitting me right here, like, a trophy lift is great. It's satisfying. Like, yes, we have that banked. Like, good, we've deserved it and we've got it. But it's the moments that I go back and watch, and it's the moments that stick with you. Those sort of. That's why he's so beloved and so missed already, because it's kind of, I've had about 50 of those moments.
You reminisce on the good times. And isn't it like the most Klopp way to win a trophy? Sure, right, we didn't win the major trophies, but this is still a trophy winning season. We won the EFL Carabao Cup, and the way we won it with the kids in injury time against oil laden, money under the cosh. The kids came on, and we had the one winning condition, a Simicast cross to a Van Dijk header, in it goes. That's the most Klopp and Liverpool way to do it, isn't it?
It is. And I was like, I just lost it. I was so annoyed at the goal that didn't happen with Virgil earlier. One of those, like, haven't seen any goal being pulled back since then from someone else being offside. It's just that week, that was the issue. And so all game I was kind of like, I can't believe that didn't count. And then for him to get it again, at the end, it was just, And then that, at the time, I know, like, ultimately we kind of fell short with a few of the other stuff we were going for this year, but like, just the positivity around there was like, we're really going for every title here, and just the team that we have this year is still so new, and it's just like, I did not expect to win anything this year after last year. Just get us back into the Champions League and keep building. So what can you say? It's just
exactly. And tempering those kind of expectations is quite difficult, because people ride week to week, on a different momentum. Just the result changes your perspective the whole week, the mood of the whole week. But when you look at the season, it's a whole new midfield. You don't know how Szoboszlai will adapt. We've lost out on Caicedo and Lavia, who is Wataru Endo, for example. I told everyone who Wataru Endo was.
You said it.
Yep, I did. When you look back at the start of the season, that perspective, you got to keep things, kind of fair, because sure, we're riding the wave, we're right in the title race, but at the start of the season, nobody put us as title contenders all the way into the new year, right?
No, and it was kind of, I hated having to say, after it kind of came off a little bit towards the end, of like, we'd have taken this last season, but like, we really would have taken your absolute hand off to get in this situation. That it's like, okay, what's the best case scenario? Okay, we finished third, 82 points, I think it was. We win a trophy, and pretty much all of our 4 new midfielders that we've had a complete midfield transplant. All 4 of those midfielders are either brilliant or shown like unbelievable potential. So I'm like, it really couldn't have got, like, obviously we were in the run for so long that you always think, oh, if we could have just gone a little bit further. But I think we just gave absolutely everything this year, and I think that's, again, like just, and I think it's kind of like, this is, Liverpool 2.0, as they say. And I like the fact that Klopp stayed that extra year with that side to get them up and running, and not just kind of like, okay, we have to totally change out the midfield. We're bringing in a new manager. It's like, okay, we've got the midfield settled now. Now we have the infrastructure behind the manager. Now we have the manager who will work with them. And I think it's all the places are, all the things are put in place very well. So, I have a lot of hope for next season, I think.
I completely agree with you. And on that point as well. So, one of the key things that kind of derailed our season and people couldn't anticipate for, right, was Bajcetic has been established, right? He's been used in that midfield as well. And Thiago Alcantara has been established and used and is familiar with the system. But with them two, very technical players, right? Spanish maestros out of the team, that it literally is the brand new four midfield, except from the fact that two of those, Gravenberch and Endo, didn't even have a pre-season with Liverpool. They came so late in the transfer window. People don't take this into consideration for how well they've actually adapted. They had to adapt while playing the Premier League games.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's funny because it seemed like at one stage all of Liverpool's midfielders were just taking turns at being like the best player in the league. Like Szoboszlai at the very start, the first few games where everyone was just like, wow, like this guy is unbelievable. And then Endo came, took him a couple of games, and then one of Liverpool's one of their most beloved players. And then McAllister obviously is just phenomenal. And I think Gravenberch just shows so much potential. Like I see so much that I like with Gravenberch. And I think the fact that Slot is Dutch coming in, I feel like Gravenberch is going to be the main sort of beneficiary of the new management, because I think there's a good Dutch sort of base in the team, where you have Verge and all this. And I just think like Gravenberch, I feel like is going to be I think he's going to have a great season this year.
I kind of fall along that lines as well, because he has some kind of X factor. Against Manchester City, when we needed a goal, he burst past Rodri. He transitioned us up to the pitch, and that's how I think Trent was someone who got the equaliser. But no, I completely agree with the potential there. It's actually going to fall in line with my second point. But what's your second memory of the kind of Klopp tenure? What strikes out to you apart from Barcelona?
I'm kind of still I'm brought back to sort of matches and results. I would kind of say the Salah. And technically it's the Salah memory, but Salah's goal to make it 2-0 against United in the league, where that was kind of like the moment where we kind of knew that we were going to win the league.
Sure.
And it was just such a vintage Salah goal. One of those like half the pitch is open in front of him. It just, how many times have you seen him under Klopp sort of just with that, like there's like he's at the halfway line and he like just keep go, and like he scored loads of those sort of goals. And just the fact that it was so tense, it was 1-0. We were worried about conceding an equaliser, and then Alisson to Salah. Like how many times have we seen that combo? Yes. And just like the moment, like you've Klopp celebrating, you've Alisson sliding down, and Salah with his top off and all this, and it was just, that was the first time that it became like, oh, we're actually going to win the league here. And just such a joyous moment. That's one of the goals I've watched back so often, I think. But yeah, it was just so good.
Is that the one where he shrugged off Dan James, who was trying to track him? Yeah, exactly.
Which in reality, Dan James should have done so much better. But Salah's strong, and I just as I kept going on, I'm like, oh, Salah, he's still there. And then when it just went in, it was just the release, and then the cops singing, "We're going to win the league," and it was just, that chant had been at Anfield, in whatever the 80s and stuff like that. And it had been a long time since Anfield had heard that chant, and so that was quite special, because it was like, oh, like we're singing it again, we're here again,
where so we belong.
Yeah. I mean, I just get goosebumps even talking about it. So yeah, I think for me that's definitely one.
No, absolute beautiful moment. I know when you get the feeling you're that close, and when there's that kind of on a knife edge, if you can just overcome that final hurdle, then you're almost at the promised land, right? That's I feel
but then there was the worry, because then there was the league was shut down then with COVID, and then there was loads of talk about the league just being cancelled, and I you're probably the same, where it was just like the fact that like we'd lost so many tight, lost the league by a point the last 2 years before that, lost the Champions League final, and it's like we're 23 points clear. Oh, but the league's going to be cancelled. I was thinking. I mean, I get it. Like, there's bigger and more important things going on, but I was like, and in my own selfish way, I was just like, if this league gets cancelled now, after we're so far ahead,
I know.
I'm like, what am I going to do?
Everything conspiring against us. It would just wow, the dagger through the heart.
I know. But yeah, luckily we ended up coming back, and it was weird. It was weird playing with no crowds in the stadium, but I would take it. Let's just get these results banked, get to the end, and win this trophy.
30 years of hurt down the drain.
Yeah, I know. How about you? Do you have another one yourself?
Yeah. So it's actually going to be one that's happening very, very soon. So what I'm really appreciative of Klopp, right, in terms of his pure love for Liverpool, is the handover that he's going to give to Arne Slot. He's leaving with Liverpool right there at the upper echelons of world football. Nobody wants to draw against Liverpool in any of the cup competitions, in any of the European competitions. We have the building blocks there for a super fantastic team. Like, you look at a squad all the way from goalkeeper, defense, midfield, wingers, strikers. We have an abundance of talent that other clubs would love to buy, right? Love to get off us.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they can't. And then now we've got the infrastructure in place as well. Michael Edwards coming back, Julian Ward coming back.
Yeah.
We've got, all the boys in kind of place to allow Slot to just come in and do what he does best. So I don't think there's ever been a better handover in world football, with everything in place. The actual training ground, the stands, everything's just there. It's the perfect package for Slot to succeed. If Slot can't succeed with what he's given, then he never would have succeeded. So that's
I think so. And I think they've obviously, I think some people, when Arne Slot was confirmed or in the running, few people were a bit underwhelmed by it. And I'll be honest, I didn't know a huge amount about him, but just from what I'd seen from watching your stuff and watching other things, was just like, oh, okay, this, one thing I love about Liverpool's infrastructure is that it's very data driven, very, just they know what they're doing. Like, you just compare it with United, who are only kind of 10 years after Fergie, kind of getting things in place this season and having a bit more of a structure or whatever. Whereas Liverpool, it's not just here's a new team slot and good luck. It was okay, we've worked with these guys, we have this infrastructure backed, and I think as well the fact that he's coming in and he knows, I think the support behind him will have a bigger say into obviously the dealings and the transfers and things like that. And it's probably no surprise that they are back now that Klopp is gone, because he may have had, Klopp was God basically to Liverpool. So, I think it's clear they're probably going to have a bit more control. And obviously Slot kind of, now again, at any point, if I'm talking nonsense, please do correct me here. But at any point, I kind of think, Slot just knows the deal with the setup that he's coming into.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and he knows the team. They play very similar in certain ways, and I just think it's just set up so well. I'm so interested to see how it works out next year.
No, I agree. The fact that Klopp earned the right to have a bit more responsibility, a bit more accountability for all the finer dealings, bringing in Nunez and etc. He probably took the fun parts away from Michael Edwards and Julian Ward's role in a way that he could probably overrule them, just because he's got that credibility and that money in the bank. But what this allows Arne Slot to do is it kind of takes the pressure off him. So the big signings, it won't be an Arne Slot thing; it'll be a transfer committee kind of thing. And building blocks and tools of the players for whatever formation Klopp and Arne Slot post Klopp chooses to play. It means that he has all the options available. If he wants to do 4-2-3-1, if he wants to do 4-3-3, I think we have the players that can do that kind of transition. And it's just around fine tuning it in the first season, seeing which players are Arne Slot players, which players he will need to shift out in the next few windows. And I just feel that Klopp has given the best endorsement, not just a handover in terms of infrastructure, but the endorsement Arne Slot.
I know. How special was that?
Exactly.
I mean, how special was that? Like naming him as well. Like, I know that's everyone kind of knew what was happening, but what a show of support. At the end, I just thought that was fantastic. Can I ask you? Do you think that with Slot coming in, I'm obsessed with Darwin Nunez, and I love him so much. like a lot of times I'm blinded by my love for him.
I know what you mean.
You know?
I know what you
And
mean.
I just have this feeling that Slot's going to be the man to just take him to the next level. And look, it's not that Klopp can't do it, but I think with with the experience that Nunez has in the league now for a couple of seasons, and I think with strikers especially, they can kind of feel like they've got a fresh slate when they
With a new
have a new
manager.
manager. And they're kind of like, okay, like I'm going to put all the baggage behind me and just like drawing a line under it. I'm starting now this season. This is me under Slot's reign.
Yeah.
And I just like, do you think he's more inclined to work with him and get the better of him, or do you think he'd be inclined to say he's not my guy?
I think I'll give you the good news here. So I almost think that Arne Slot in world football is the perfect manager if you want to get the most out of Darwin Nunez, and there's a few reasons for that. So back in Slot's playing days, he was a slow, technical, methodical attacking midfielder, right? Who knows how to slide the ball in behind, so to get those balls into the strikers early doors, because Slot wasn't blessed with pace, but he was very technical with a good touch.
Yeah.
So to get the ball in position to slide the striker through, Nunez has been missing somebody that plays close enough to him to feed the ball in quickly so that his runs are no longer offside. Our ball playing players held onto the ball just a smidgen, an extra touch too long, that when the ball was played, Nunez was offside. Now, Nunez has the pace to break the lines, but no matter how fast you are, you're always told that as soon as that player gets the ball on half turn, you make the run, because element of surprise means that you're more likely to, get in behind them. But the ball doesn't come, which is why Nunez is caught offside. But Slot playing that in his playing day and having a number 10, a dedicated number 10, is designed to give Nunez the balls to thrive upon, because I don't think Nunez is the type that really wants those long Trent balls over the top or from out wide having to, make the smart runs. He wants to use his physical attributes to get into place. Yeah. And Santiago Jimenez at Feyenoord was also very, very hit and miss, very sporadic, high peaks, low troughs. But under Arne Slot, he's getting the right type of balls that allow him the opportunity to shoot. So whereas Nunez, people are saying he's missing, can't hit Bandel with a banjo, scuffing the chances, missing the chances. The type of chances is a little bit, he's not the most clinical placed finisher, but he is a good finisher given the right early balls. So I think Slot will find a way to unlock him. And I think we'll see Gakpo move to the left a lot of the time, because predominantly in Slot's kind of system, Gakpo as a wide forward with the ability to shoot, with the ability to cross, with the ability to be a dummy runner and get in behind, really allows Nunez the space to have the player to hit the ball in for Nunez, as opposed to everyone congested. Because what we have with Klopp is Salah and Lucho Diaz come inside, which closes the amount of space that Nunez has to work with. They all like to, come inside, right? So where's Nunez meant to go to find those pockets? It's been a bit hard for him.
Yeah,
so that's my feeling.
And I think that's one thing that I'm looking forward to with Slot, is that little change up, because that obviously front three with Salah, Firmino, and Mane worked so well, because Firmino was kind of pulling back a little bit and creating the space and making runs, like, not necessarily like strikers mindset all the time. And sometimes I would love for them to play around a little bit. And like, I love Diaz, I love Salah, and I love Nunez. I love them all. But I kind of like, I'd love to see, does Diaz have to be anchored on the left? Can we try Gakpo? Can we try Nunez? Can we move things around? And like, I don't know, but I'm looking forward to seeing how Slot does that. How he
absolutely. I agree with you, and I think what really facilitated that era of our success was the fact that Sadio Mane can go both ways. Great left-footed shot, great right-footed shot, can beat you around the outside and score a goal, can beat you on the inside and score and dominant in the air. Mane was a massive monster in the air. So many goals.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he?
Bang.
Yeah. You wouldn't have thought it, but it's like when you look back and God, he was such a good header of the ball, and it really doesn't get spoken about a lot, does it?
Yeah, and the type of shot as well. He's the one that can leather a ball, left foot and right ball. Like, Lucho Diaz has to hit that curling right-footed shot. Salah has to hit the curling left-footed shot, right? We don't have the donkey kicker ball, 100 miles an hour, straight line.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's actually one thing that I love about Nunez, is that he, some say he overthinks it, or some say he underthinks it, but it's kind of like he will absolutely smash the ball. That's his default, and. He's a shoot first, ask questions later sort of striker. So he'll,
That's how
But
he
yeah,
got the
I'm
goals
looking
against
forward to
Newcastle,
that.
wasn't it? That's how he got the goals against Newcastle, getting into that half space on the right and leathering it into the left side.
Yeah, just didn't think about it. Like, boom, there you go. Like, oh, that was brilliant. Forgot
Yes,
about
yes,
that actually. Yeah.
indeed. So on to the third choice now. What would be
Okay.
the final defining memory of Jurgen Klopp's era for yourself?
Um. Do you know what I would have to say? Again, I'm going with match moments here, but Alisson's header
Oh yeah.
against West Brom,
Oh my
because
goodness.
it was just. I mean, I don't think I've rewatched the goal more in my life than that one.
Replay, replay,
And it
replay.
was, yeah, and it was just. I remember I was jumping around my sitting room, and like I was actually watching it on my phone at the time, and I was just like, and like, like my daughter was like, she's looking at TV, she's like, "Dad, sit down." Like, like it's so funny the difference in energy in the room. Like she's just chilling watching cartoons, and I'm
Yeah.
like in a battle of life and death here on the phone.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
and but it was just what it meant to, we needed it to get into the Champions League. It was like, okay, that's probably over. We're probably not getting in now. To like Alisson's coming up. Oh, cool. And then for him to be the one to get it, like his dad had just passed away.
So tragic.
And just like one thing I love to see is like the faces of everyone around him, like Salah just in pure disbelief, and like Trent
Right.
just like screaming up in the air, and then Salah or Alisson with like Firmino and all, and they're all emotional, sharing a moment, and it was just the fact that it was Alisson as well. I mean, I just love him so much. I'm like,
Beautiful.
I'm so happy that it was him, and what like, even the technique and the way he's kind
Like a
of,
striker.
yeah. I mean, I had to look a few times. I'm like, did Alisson get that? Because Nat Phillips, I remember, was like running in
Almost got a
just in
touch.
front of him. And I
Oh,
thought, was it Phillips or was? I mean, I still would have been overjoyed if it was him too, because what a role he played that year. But it was, with Alisson, I was just like, how many of those were you just like, it was one of those Klopp moments where you're just like, I cannot believe, like, you wouldn't put it in a movie because you'd be like, that's like, come on, like another one, you know.
that was important. That
But
was important because we needed that for the Champions League. We
yeah,
needed 3
it
points.
was like that's what like how often do you see a keeper coming up when it's a draw at the time? You know what I mean? Like normally it's it's to get a draw or something like that. But for the keeper to score the winning goal to get us into the Champions
He
League, I
can
was
do it
just like,
all. He
oh,
can do it all, Alison
he
Becker.
really can. He's a beautiful man.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. That actually lends itself very nicely to my third and final point of Klopp's reign as well. And this is something why I think that players wanted to play for Jurgen Klopp and join Liverpool FC. It's not just because Jurgen Klopp or Liverpool. Everyone has a chance to make themselves a hero under
Yeah,
Jurgen Klopp. It's not just the big buys, the $1 million buys. I'll
yeah,
replace you with a 50 million wing back or fullback if you don't succeed. It's the fact that Nat Phillips, Reece Williams, that iconic photo of them scarred, battered, and bruised.
yes,
The power cube, Alison Becker, last moment header, Ginny Wijnaldum, who's not our goal scorer, right? All these players have a
yeah,
chance to become the hero under Jurgen Klopp because he gives you the opportunity, the setup, and he shows
yeah,
you the belief and the arm over the shoulder. Kids can come in and make a name for themselves. Trent Alexander-Arnold established himself.
hmm,
All these moments are the fact
yeah,
that Jurgen Klopp's system allows you to shine with full trust and full faith. Go out there and make us proud.
yeah.
That kind of thing.
It's true, and like with even with like a Origi who is kind of like being like our super sub, like our secret weapon. But like how many, like he has more of those moments like than most players who play week in, week out, those big like, Champions
Yeah,
League semi-final, Champions League final, these like Everton, the last minute goal against Wolves, and like just it's the fact that like one Klopp's trust in them, and then the fact that they feel that they can go and deliver. Like they feel that trust, and they kind of, how many young players have personally come out to thank Klopp for
indeed.
giving them the opportunities, and Trent. I seen a thing yesterday with Trent. He was talking about his top 3 moments under Klopp, and number 1 was his debut.
That
And I thought
trophy.
it was funny. Like after Trent came off in his debut, it's like Klopp was going for the handshake, and Trent's just like,
Hug. Give me the hug.
like he
Top hug.
just
I want
hugs
that top
him.
hug.
Like he's just so happy and grateful, and it's just like he's out. Connor Bradley, Jarell Kwanzaa this year alone is just like he just gives you the opportunity for those to have those sort of moments, you know. But yeah, that's a great one actually.
Harvey Elliott, Bajcetic, they come in over Henderson, over
Yeah,
Thiago. They come in because they're on form and on merit, and it's just really, really nice to see how many players came through, and we're not just squad fillers like under Mourinho. They actually made an impact, and if you play well, you have a chance to keep your spot as well. And
yeah,
I read something really interesting. I think it was Arrigo Sacchi, legendary Milan coach. Some players like Divock Origi actually perform better as a substitute for various reasons, not because that they're not good players or they can't start from the start, but because of the attributes and the way that they play, they have one or two chances to do something that the opposition defenders aren't prepared for, not just
yeah,
mentally or in preparation, but physically. They can't adapt to that one first or second thing that new person does, and that's your key moment opportunity to strike. And Divock
yeah,
Origi just bizarre intensity in terms of driving that final 1-2 yards to get a shot away, right? It's really hard to
yeah,
prepare for. Like Gakpo can make that 1 or 2 yards. It's really, he's going to do it. He can't track it. Like Arjen Robben
yeah,
cutting it. He's going to do it.
yeah,
He can't track it. And like Inzaghi, Origi, Solskjaer, Chicharito, David Fairclough, all these players in
yeah.
that last 10 moments, they can just get that moment to make the impact.
That's the thing. They just need that sort of one moment, and there'd be a difference. You know, not like I love Origi, but like, you know, if you'd see Origi start and you'd be kind of like, okay, but it's not exactly who I'd want. I love him. It's blasphemous to say anything else, but Origi off the bench, it's just like, we're winning this game. Oh, we're definitely getting the last minute goal. Brilliant, because it's Origi, you know. So the shift in your mindset, yeah. But yeah.
Oh no, it's been all smiles, man. That's why I was really, really keen to invite you. You're the first person I reached out to. I wanted to invite you here because I knew it'd be a trip down memory lane. It'd be good banter, good laugh.
Absolutely, and I must repay the favor and have you on mine as well. Although I haven't had a guest before, but I'll figure out. I'll basically just do this. But yeah, no, thanks for coming on, or thanks for letting me come on. I've been watching your channel for a while now, and occasionally, and I'd hear like, you know, on like Reddit or something like that, I'd occasionally see us both spoken about in the same circles or by the same circle of fans, and I'm like, oh, like, so that was what made me check you out in the first place, because people, there was a link to one of my videos, and then someone had commented, oh, a Liverpool fan in Japan is actually, you know, quite similar, like it's a proper fan, and you know, all this sort of stuff. And I thought, oh, who's this? So that was when I started. So hopefully the viewers will like this crossover, you know. But
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. It's a small world for sure, right? And you know,
yeah, that's it.
Growth drives growth. I've always been of the kind of opinion, right, that some people like to wall off themselves and keep themselves closed. I don't know whether it's, you know, jealousy or the kind of bitterness, no Everton kind of vibe there. But I actually think that, you know, there's enough space for everybody to make an impact. Liverpool belongs to everybody. Everybody should have the ability to make their opinion and, you know, showcase their passion and love for the game. And anyone that wants to kind of close themselves off or whitewall themselves off, you know, I don't know whether it's
I agree. And yeah, and I was picked up a few times, sometimes on the YouTube thing, for saying we all the time, like we did it or we need to do this, and then people be like we, and I'm like yeah, I'm like, you know, yes we, you know, exactly. Like that whole thing of like it's like even this, like it's completely different time zones here, but we both have the same passion and the same sort of feeling, and we get goosebumps at the same moments, you know, about, like with these incidents happening with people who probably don't even know that we exist, but we care so much, and we both know exactly what we're talking about when we say Alisson header, when we just say two words, or when we say, you know, anything like that, we both get the same, you know, go on, take quickly, like, you know, it will forever be etched in our brains. But so I love it. I think it's brilliant. So yeah, thanks again for having me on.
No, appreciated. So much appreciation for you for taking the time to join the Liverpool Fan in Japan channel here. Everyone, you got to subscribe to the man. Absolutely beautifully well spoken as well. Andy, thank you so much for coming on, and we'll speak soon.
Thanks so much, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Guys, that was Andy Cantwell. Hope you guys enjoyed the first ever Liverpool Fan in Japan Miyazaki Man podcast in the new studio. Lots coming up, lots of collaborations coming up. If you want to join, let me know. If you have any suggestions, also let me know in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe. This is a channel with substance and abundance. Until next time, Miyazaki Man in Japan. Janet.